All right, good evening, and welcome to the Town of Hampstead's council meeting. We're being broadcast live on Channel 23 tonight, and it's also being live streamed via Carroll Media Center and on Facebook.com/Carroll Media Center. So we'll get on with the usual proceedings, call to order, and rise for the prayer and the pledge. Dear Lord, we submit ourselves to you as your servants and the servants of the people of Hampstead who place their trust in us. Please allow every word that is spoken and every action taken to be in the best interest of Hampstead, and for everyone gathered here tonight to be a stabilizing influence in these unsettled times. O Lord, bless this meeting and our town. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tammy, when you're ready with the roll.
Mayor Nevin.
Here.
Councilwoman Duff.
Here.
Councilwoman Painter.
Here.
Councilman Renehan.
Here.
Councilman Thomas.
Here.
And Councilman Unglesbee.
Here. Thank you. Minute approvals from the council meeting on July 14th.
So moved. To approve.
Thank you, Marlene. Second. Second by Dave. Any comment? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Town manager's report and the Main Street revitalization update.
Town staff virtually attended State Highways partnering meeting on July 21st. CJ Miller crews continue to travel south on the southbound lane. Existing sidewalks have been moved up to 1220 North Main Street. This week, the crews have been preparing the site for the concrete driveway apron at Houck Avenue and the surrounding sidewalk locations. The missing section of sidewalk on the southbound lane north of 42 will be poured after the retaining walls in front of 1414 and 1416 North Main Street are built. The walls had to be slightly modified, which needed approval from State Highway. The change was approved, and now the work needs to be scheduled. Engineering changes were also made to the plans for the retaining wall at 1334 North Main Street due to concerns about how the excavation might impact the house foundation. So they're still working on that one. The cluster boxes for this section have been delivered. We have them at Public Works. And the post office is working on the installation schedule and mail delivery process. So that'll take care of all the cluster boxes north of 42, so there shouldn't be any mailboxes, single mailboxes. And then there wasn't mail delivery in the middle of town between 42 and Hampstead. So on the southbound lane, the post office considered or indicated that their budget schedule would allow for the remaining cluster boxes, again on the southbound lane, for the center of town to be ordered and installed monthly. So they'll order one a month to finish up all the cluster boxes on Main Street. So our commercial and residential projects are still moving forward. So Council Member Painter will give more details during her oversight report. Cheryl is preparing for the FY20 financial audit. The auditors will be on site starting September 8th. For our revitalization committee, the committee members have hand-delivered flyers for our town bucket paint program, which reimburses residents up to $250 for the cost of paint and materials to renovate the exterior of the home. Residents need to apply to Town Hall before the start of their project. As of today, we've received 2 applications. And the mayor will show the details of last night's committee meeting. The U.S. Census announced last week that the new deadline for completing the census count is now September 30th, 2020. The new deadline is a replacement for the originally extended deadline date of October 30th of 2020. The Census Bureau must deliver the counts to the President and Congress by December 31st, 2020 as required by law. The request to extend this date to April 30th, 2021 has not been approved as of today. As of August 9th, Carroll County's response rate of 79.1% is the highest in Maryland. The town of Hampstead's response rate is ranked 3rd in the county and 21st in the state out of 156 municipalities. So far, 77.5% of our residents have completed the 2020 census. We have exceeded our 2010 final response of 75.1%. And with that count, they haven't cleared, like foreclosures, or maybe somebody who's renting to a child and everything was counted at one residence. So that's not a true count in the sense of 77.5% of residents. They're looking at amount of households. So some of the households will actually be taken from the number when they start to clean up the numbers. Census workers will be visiting homes that may have that have not responded to the 2020 census to make sure everyone is counted. Please remember, if someone visits your home to collect information for the 2020 census, you may ask to see their badge, which has their photograph, a U.S. Department of Commerce watermark, and an expiration date. Census workers will never ask for your Social Security number, bank or credit card numbers, money, donations, or your political party. The 4th annual Hampstead Manchester Business and Community Expo that was rescheduled for September 12th at Manchester Valley High School has been canceled. This year's expo will not be rescheduled again. The next annual expo is planned for March of 2021. Public Works successfully replaced a broken water valve at the Boxwood Drive Pump House in Robertsfield last month. Even though the project required shutting the water off, Public Works was able to restore water to the surrounding residents sooner than expected. Some other miscellaneous projects we've been working on. Our new deck on Town Hall is almost finished and is a nice addition to the building. They're waiting on more shingles. With COVID-19, getting supplies for different projects has delayed many things that developers and towns are working on, government's working on. And I want to give a special thanks for Christy for managing our transition to our new Comcast voice over internet phone and internet. And Christy also oversaw the selection process of our new IT provider, which is now Maryland IT.
Thank you. Questions for Tammy? All right, we'll get into, we'll get into oversights. Deb, first up.
Okay, Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission was held on Wednesday, July 22nd of 2020. The first thing was the discussion and approval of the Dollar General concept plan at 834 South Main Street, which is where the Old Dean's and Old Town Grill was. Also, an approval of a decorative fence at 1300 North Main Street for Outlaw Barbecue Smokehouse. And that whole patio was redone. It looks beautiful. And we also approved the new paint color for 1301 North Main Street, which is across the street from Outlaw, which will be the same color as Outlaw. There was a concept plan introduction from Ridge Engineering for their expansion at 3987 Hampstead, Mexico Road. And an introduction of the preliminary plan for Hampstead Overlook. There was no change of the concept plan, and it was the same thing with the 2 entrances in and out. The site plan remained the same. The 2020 Hampstead Community Comprehensive Plan discussion was that we coincided the groups to match the Maryland 12 visions. And that was pretty relatively quick planning and zoning.
Yeah, I was surprised it only took a half hour
Yes.
with everything on the agenda.
Big change.
Wayne.
The Hampstead train station remains closed. This fall we need to fix the porches. There's a couple of problems with some of the railing on the porches. We're looking at replacing both the porches on the west side of the station and doing some repair work on the ramp on the east side of the station. The Tree Commission is working with Westwood Park for a fall planting on Willow Street. And more about that probably next meeting.
Okay, we got a call from somebody whose father had an old train set. I assume you're still taking them if they're offered?
Yep.
Okay. As soon as we get it, we'll have it to you. Marlene.
It's hard to believe, but the Hampstead Farmers Market season is half over already. The market manager, Keith Johnson, reported that there is an average of 21 to 24 vendors each week, and still about 500 customers attending. Folks seem to be comfortable at that level. And there will be no need to relocate to Joseph Bank parking lot this year for the next 2 weeks because the carnival has been canceled. So that's bad for the fire department, but good for the market. And that's it.
Okay, thanks. It's people definitely are coming, but when they're there, they're buying. So it's good to see. Joe.
Okay, for parks, we've been granted $74,600 in funding through Program Open Space in Carroll County. We will be removing the old walking path at Chief Sites Memorial Park and installing a new walking path and some benches. With the remaining funds, we will begin working on the War Memorial Park upgrades. At the end of this month, we'll be submitting a proposal to the Department of Natural Resources for their Community Parks and Playground Grant. Our proposal will focus on additions to the War Memorial Park to include a bandstand, walking paths, and possibly additional seatings. Electrical charging station project is moving along. At this time, the power has been pulled from the pole, and the splice box and cabinet are now in place. And that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
Exciting news with the cemetery. As you know, last month I reported that we had donation of wood and we built 3 large box beds. I reached out to Roof Right, their estate care, and the president there has donated all the topsoil I need for all the project and all the mulch I need for the project. And actually, he's going to send this crew out this week, and they're going to do the whole thing for me. So it'll all be set up. We're going to try to do some fall plantings for something that can grow, you know, in the fall in the beds in the meantime before next spring. But this alleviates a lot of problems. So very, very thankful to Roof Right. So thank you. Water, July 2020 average water usage was 373,000 gallons per day. August 2020 average water usage so far has been 362,000 gallons per day. Rainfall total for July 2020 was 2.9, and rainfall total so far for August 2020 has been 2.4.
Thank you. That's it for oversights. Chief Snyder.
Good evening, everyone. In July, we investigated 9 traffic accidents. 1 was reportable, 8 were minor property damage only. With reference to traffic enforcement, we conducted 25 selective enforcements at specific target areas based upon complaints that we get from citizens for various issues. 3 citations and 70 warnings were issued during those events, and we also located 4 suspended drivers during those selective enforcement. Overall traffic enforcement, 46 citations and 158 warnings were issued. In community involvement, we conducted 677 property checks. Serious crime, we investigated 2 assaults of the 2nd degree. We took 6 adults into custody for various infractions, including 1 warrant service, 4 suspended drivers, and 1 DUI, which was CDS related. With reference to training, we conducted 62 hours of training. Topics included firearms, LIDAR, anti-bias, search and seizure, child abuse, human trafficking, de-escalation, eating right for health and fitness, leadership, body-worn cameras, and driving while distracted.
Any questions for Dave? Thank you. My report. Tammy and I attended the Hampstead Merchants Association meeting in person.
Revitalization committee.
No, that was the Merchants Association down at the Lions Club Park.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about last night.
So not last night, a couple weeks ago. So they had their first meeting since God knows when. So this was the first one post-COVID, and it was down at the Lions Club Park in the big pavilion, so everybody was spread out and socially distanced. It was good to see everybody out for that meeting. And it was in July, so it was probably about 85 degrees at that point in the time of the day, but it was a good meeting. Attended the Planning and Zoning Committee Commission meeting. That went very quickly, and it's been, I guess, released today in the press, but Penguin Random House is taking over the Dart Warehouse, which is about a quarter mile down the road, exactly over this way. So we look forward to having them as a new corporate neighbor. I know by the end of the time that Dart was there, we got 1 million square feet of warehouse there, and a very ultra-modern warehouse, cross dock 30, I think 8 foot clear. But there weren't many jobs with that much space. It was just primarily a distribution space. So we're hopeful that Random House puts it to a better use, and there's a few more bodies that are actually working there, and it's a net positive for the town of Hampstead, even though it's right on the border. And then last night we had the Revitalization Committee. We've been meeting pretty much every other week. Dave's included in that, as well as several interested citizens and some business people. We've been wrestling with trying to have something in the fall. And I think we finally nailed down a date and sort of nailed down a theme in this all but unusual year. We've come up with a day of gratitude, and we want to basically have people thank the businesses by spending a Saturday. We've picked October 10th. It's outside at the War Memorial. You come pick up some cards, go to the various businesses, take a walk along our newly pretty much refinished Main Street. If they aren't done, they're certainly going to be really, really close to done. There'll be just like one little section of curb and sidewalk that needs to be done. But, take a walk along Main Street, go in and out of businesses, patronize them, thank them for staying open and for being there for the community. The idea is it started at 10 o'clock, pick up some cards and head out, park your car and take a little walk, hopefully the weather permits. Write personal message on the cards and stop in and visit the various businesses. You don't have to use cards. You can just stop in and thank them by actually buying stuff. There'll also be a raffle ticket or two to purchase some gift baskets. And then at 12 o'clock, the town's going to sponsor a concert by Bootleg at the War Memorial from 12 to 3. So we figure that's a great way to get people out. Hopefully the weather cooperates and, we can all be 6 feet apart but have a good time. And then at first break, we're going to take a break on the bandstand and recognize some people in the community who deserve some recognition and some gratitude for all the work they're putting in. But basically, hopefully it's a fun day. Hopefully the weather is good and everybody gets out and about and walks along our new Main Street and takes the opportunity to stop in and visit a lot of the businesses who, while they've been struggling, have been doing a great job. I just look at what some of our restaurants have done with what Steve and Outlaw Barbecue have done with fixing up their place, and Greenmount going and putting all those picnic benches in outside, Ricky doing the same thing, Mike Iliano totally redoing the interior of his building in this period of time. So, I think they're trying to meet the new environment, and we should continue. We've done a great job, but we've got to continue to support them. And, the restaurants aren't the only ones. There's various insurance agents, Dreamers Travel, others on Main Street that could certainly, use a walk by and a wave. So hopefully that will work out. And actually, if it doesn't work out weather-wise on that Saturday, the 10th of October, then we have the following Saturday open. So, but hopefully Mother Nature smiles on us, and October 10th will be a nice day, and we can get a little sense of normalcy back into things that are going on. So that's it for my report. I don't think we have much in the way of business tonight. It, being a nice quote-unquote knock on wood, quiet August evening, and we don't have a fire carnival to deal with either. So the only piece of new business we have is the abatement of personal property taxes for DMH Computers in the amount of $19.60. Apparently, they had moved out some time ago and they were still being charged. So I'll take a motion to abate the tax.
So moved.
Second.
And a second by Dave. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Ordinance and resolutions, we've got nothing. Public comments, Diane, being our lone public person. All right. So, anybody else have anything to add? If not, we'll see you.
I just want to add that the carnival is having their carnival, what's it they call it? Carnival Eats.
Yeah, that's a good, thank you for bringing that up. The fire department is having their food, I guess they're going to put out food, pit beef and their platters Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So in place of the carnival, that's what's going to be going on up at the on the fire department grounds. So definitely take the opportunity. The fire department, not having a carnival, not having much in the way of not having any in the way of rentals for the hall and anything else. This is be a good way to stop up and show our support for the fire department. And it's always good food.
Thursday night, they're going to have a drive-through parade. People are going to be in their cars going from, it's Saturday, North Carroll High School, right? From North Carroll High School, Hampstead, Willow, or Willow to Hampstead, then go Main Street up to the fire department.
Okay.
It'll be a little, people in their cars parade.
Dave, you'll have to get one of your special cars out.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. I don't think we have any other comment. Motion
I do.
to. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Personal note. I'd like to thank the farmers market for making a personal message to my grandniece. She rang the bell today.
Did she really?
Yes.
Very nice.
So she has done her chemo, she has done her radiation, and she is home, she's safe, and she is looking pretty good. The
That's awesome.
prognosis is pretty good.
Good.
So thank you for the farmer's market, for lifting their spirits. All of you guys ought to be commended. Because I tell you something, it's notes like that who lift a little 5-year-old girl.
Great
Thank
news.
you very much.
Appreciate that, Joe. Great news. Motion to adjourn on that good news.
So moved.
Deb seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Short meeting, but thank you for hanging out with us on TV.